All right. It is Saturday morning, and I am super ecstatic. I'm up, I'm alert, I'm ready for the day, and I hope you are ready for the day as well. Some of you have probably already started getting your day underway, and I hope that your Saturday is already amazing. Listen, I want to add a little bit to your amazing day that you're already having. We've got a special guest that's stopped by the virtual studio to talk to me a little bit on the MANWORK platform. And I'm very excited to have this dude. Listen, we've been kind of chopping it up and talking all morning about different things and just kind of catching up. But listen, we've been talking about some very important topics that I definitely want to raise on today. And so I want you to go ahead and share this broadcast out. Make sure that you tag some brothers in the comment section. Let them know that we are on. MANWORK is live right now. For those of you guys who do not know me, I am Kenyon Dudley. I'm the creator and I am the innovator of MANWORK Talks and the MANWORK Network platform. So, what the heck is MANWORK? It's simple. About a month ago, I really believed that God was leading me to bring together a network of brothers, a network of men to come together and just start connecting with one another through conversation. And so we talk about things from faith to family to finance. We talk about wealth and health. We talk about the things that matter to men to help them kind of level up in their life, to help them express thoughts and things that they are experiencing and going through. Listen, men have challenges too. Men have thoughts. Men have things that they are dealing with as well as women do, contrary to popular belief. And so I think that this platform serves as a platform for men to just connect over conversation that's really things that we need to talk about, especially now during the pandemic. I'm preferably we're coming to the end of this pandemic, but we are in a pandemic in the global community. And what I found is that many men are under stress and dealing with things, but they've already been dealing with those things. It's just that the pandemic has exacerbated those things that they have experienced. And so we got a lot of men who are finding that this platform has been very beneficial because we're talking. And not only are we talking about the situations, but we're encouraging men to go back to their areas of influence, their communities, their homes to be the best versions of themselves as possible. It is so needed today. And so we're going to be doing some man work in just a moment. I'm going to be bringing up our guest in just a moment, but I want you to share this broadcast out. I am live on all of my Facebook platforms. And for those of you guys who will be catching the replay, you can catch it on Facebook live on my platforms. You can also catch it on YouTube. Our podcast is also on Spotify and Anchor as well. So I'm very excited to be doing this broadcast today. Listen, I've got somebody for the Saturday highlight discussion. Now, in the MANWORK Network, we go live just about every week, maybe Fridays and Saturdays. We talk to a man who's like a leading man in his industry, right? It can be finance, it can be the church world, it can be the athleticism. And so today we've got my blood cousin, and he is a leader in his industry. He's a rising star, y'all. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. He's a rising star, and I'm going to get ready to bring him to the platform. But before I do that, y'all say good morning to me over in the chats. Let me know that you're ready for this discussion. It is going to be a good discussion, but I can't go forward till I say good morning to all of those who are live with me right now. Let me know that you hear me, that you are in the comment section. Say what's up, hello, which state you're from, which city you're from, what area you are from, because I want to know that you are right here with me. What's up to everybody? I see you. Hey, what's going on, Yasmin? Good morning to you. Amy, hello. And I see you, Apostle. I see you you guys are in for a treat. And I see my baby over there. She's always on board with what we're doing. What's going on, Jay? All right. None other than the pro wrestler himself. Listen, I'm so proud of this guy. Listen, this guy is amazing. He has so many different talents, and he's gonna, when I bring him up to the platform, he's gonna talk a little bit more about what he's doing. But I wanted to highlight the fact that he is a pro wrestler. He is in the sport of wrestling, and he has put in the work to get to where he is today. But guess what? It did not come without a fight. It did not come without a push. It did not come without situations that he had to encounter in order to jump over, right? We call those hurdles, right? It did not come without hurdles. And so today, he's going to be talking to me about fighting faith, how to have that fighting faith to get to the level that you've been purposed and destined to get to. I know that there's some fellas out there right now that's like, I know I'm greater than this. There's more to my life. I know that there's more to what I'm supposed to be doing, but it seems like every time I try to put my hands to do something good, things always happen in my life. Where you're in for a great treat, because Yaman Shoot Taylor Carr is coming up to the platform now. He's going to be sharing his story about fighting faith. Listen, let's go on and bring him up. Yaman,
Hey,
Yaman.
hey,
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good because we're here and we're about to have a really good, candid conversation. I'm excited about it. What about you?
Oh, I'm excited, man. Thank you for having me, man. I'm glad to be here.
I'm very excited that you said yes, and I'm very excited that you trust me in this moment with this conversation. You and I, we were talking in the virtual green room about just a lot of different things, catching up. We're blood cousins. A lot of people who may be watching in may not know that, but we are blood cousins. Your father is actually the younger brother of my mother. And so we're connected in so many different ways, but I think we're going to connect on an even deeper level today as we have this conversation. Don't you think?
Yeah, man. Let's do it. I'm excited.
All right. So listen, I did my best to introduce you, but I want you to introduce yourself just a little bit more to those who are watching in, because we got a good audience this morning.
Sure. Yaman Shoot Taylor Carr. In the wrestling world, I go by Shoot Taylor. World heavyweight champion. In the acting industry and other industries, I go by my real name, and that's Yaman Carr.
This dude, listen, he is acting. He is doing it all. When I was talking to him, he was reading scripts to me that he has written himself, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. But before we do a deep dive into our conversation, y'all got to get these numbers up. I got a good amount of people that's already looking in and listening in. But why don't you do me a favor and share this broadcast one more time? Go ahead and start tagging people because, listen, it's about to get real. Say it again, Yaman.
Oh, no, I see people in the chat. I'm looking at the chat now.
Indeed, they are here. They are here. Listen, I like to start out my broadcast with a little game. So before we go into this discussion, are you open to playing my game that I play with every guest?
Let's do it.
All right. So listen, the game that I like to play is called Guess Who. Now I'm gonna shoot off just a few questions to you without thinking, Yaman. You gotta go ahead and answer those questions as quickly as you can. This is just gonna give our audience a little bit more intel of who you really are.
Okay, got you.
All right. First question. In 30 seconds, who is Shoot Taylor?
A storyteller.
Okay. A storyteller, and that's linked to your wrestling career. So
absolutely,
you tell stories when you get out there in the match.
Absolutely, we tell stories in a different way. We tell stories with our bodies. We tell stories with facial expressions, and Yeah, I think at its purest form, I'm a storyteller, man.
Come on, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Second question. In 30 seconds, who is Yaman Carr, and is he different from Shoot Taylor, the pro wrestler?
I think, well, for the first question, Yaman Carr, I'm just a kid out here following my dreams, man, trying to find my way out here. As far as Shoot Taylor go, Shoot Taylor is Yaman Carr, but the volume turned up to 10. There's not really that many differences between the character Shoot Taylor and Yaman Carr, the man, but I think Shoot Taylor is just a heightened version of myself.
Shoot Taylor gives you that opportunity just to go all out and be exactly who you are, right?
Yep.
I love it. I love it. Last question. I'm talking to my cousin and pro wrestler, Yaman Shoot Taylor Carr. Number 3, in 30 seconds, finish the sentence. I am most authentic and happy when
I bring ideas to life, I think.
And you know what? I saw that in rare form this morning as we just reading through your scripts and talking about it. I saw just life in you. That thing was like amazing. All right, listen, I got one more bonus question for you. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it. Lay it on me.
All right, in 30 seconds, tell us, if Shoot Taylor had an opportunity to create a program for pro wrestlers, what would it be?
A program in a sense of, in what sense?
Like mentoring? Would it be some sort of mentorship program, a training program? What type of program would it be?
Yeah, so I think I had a goal for after I retired from wrestling to open up a training facility for up and coming wrestlers, and just to teach the business and the business side of it, the politics side of it, the in-ring side of it, the storytelling side of it, just everything. So if I was to start a program, I think it would be something like that.
Dope. Y'all give it up for Yaman Shoot Taylor. Listen, give it up. He made it to the end of my
man, that was stressful.
Listen, I ain't mean to stress you out on this good Saturday morning, man, but you did amazing. And listen, this dude, as you can already see, guys, he's a brilliant young man. He has so many ideas. And your sister is over there in the comments. She says she's a proud sister. Yes, indeed. I see these numbers going up. I'm so ready for this conversation. I think we got enough people that's on right now for us to do a deep dive in the conversation. Hey, bro, are you ready to have this talk and do some man work?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do some man work. We're going to be talking about fighting faith. Now, listen, I want to start the conversation a little bit different than how I've started a lot of my conversations on this platform. I'm going to start it with a pretty cool post that I saw on Instagram. All right. It's I don't know if you are familiar with the individual Tab Brown. She's she does like these whole little TikTok, things or whatever. But if not, her husband is like a professional, coach or whatnot. And he teaches actually basketball. But he said something that was interesting that I wanted to start our conversation out with. All right.
Okay.
All right. So his name is Chance. And like I said, he teaches basketball. He says, today I looked at this photo and immediately thought, who got next? Everybody who plays basketball is familiar with these words. But as I look at this photo of me and my son, the words take on a whole new meaning. What we do and how we do it while we hold court is so important. The condition in which we leave things is important. Why? Because he's got next. A reason for me to keep fighting the good fight. A reason for me to maintain my discipline. A reason for me to enjoy the moment. A reason. Who's got next? All right, listen, I want to start this out with talking a little bit about your background, your childhood, coming up
Hmm.
through the ages, because I believe that you are the person, you represent a generation that has next, right? You
Hmm.
are in a position where you're a pro wrestler, you're a writer, you're an actor, all of these different type of things, and you're about to really do some things in the world that's going to transform people's lives. So I want to start out by talking about your past. What was that growing up? Did you always think you would be where you are now, a pro wrestler and an actor? How did all that stuff start?
So it's funny. Wrestling, yes, wrestling. I've had a passion for since as far as I can remember. I've always wanted to be a professional wrestler. As far as acting and writing is concerned, I like to say that those are the things that found me. So wrestling, I was always a fan of, and I worked for it, and I grinded it out my entire life to be where I am in that industry. But as far as acting and writing, I tried to run from it for a while. I always had a natural gift that I didn't want to go any further with. In
Hmm.
high school, all my teachers would tell me that I'm a good writer. I'm a great writer. I had teachers enter me into contests that I never went through with. I had teachers offer me positions to write the school plays, and I never wanted to do it. And even the drama department wanted me to be involved in the acting in the schools, and I just didn't want to do it. It wasn't cool to me at the time.
Right.
But as I look back, like over my life, I realized that it was something that was written in the stars for me since the beginning. Watching every time I watched a movie, I would reenact the movie, and I would be each character, and
Right.
uh, and I found myself in recent years just as a therapy thing for me, just to start writing again, and it's just something that naturally I can do, and I didn't realize how much it was in my wrestling as
Hmm.
far as storytelling goes. It all works hand in hand, I feel like.
I think that's so dope that you come out the running gate talking about how you had one thought for your life, right?
Uh,
You've always wanted to be a pro wrestler. You knew that that was something you wanted to do. You put in the work for it, and you put all your effort and energy here, right?
mm,
But it was like God, he had a greater plan for your life, and he
sure.
said, okay, I'm going to allow you to do this, but there's so much more to you. Would you
Yeah,
say that your past, your childhood, all of what you have experienced, would you say that it has shaped who you are today and gotten you to where you are?
for sure, for sure, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I think growing up, seeing my mother own a salon, growing up
Mhm.
seeing my father grind it out every day, waking up, going to a job that was clearly having wear and tear on him, and
Right.
still grinding it out to make a living for him and his family. I think that shaped me to be a hard worker. Like I think
Right.
that made me see you get out what you put into things in
Mhm.
life. That definitely shaped me. And there was a few hard times that we faced growing up that shaped me into have me feel like for myself that I want better out of life.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So speaking about hard times, now I know, we come from like the same tracks because we're part of the same family.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, fighting faith today. And so, speaking about hard times, let's pivot a little bit because I know in my life, I can truly say that where I am today and how I am walking in purpose, right, is in direct correlation with some of the childhood traumas I experienced, some of the things that I experienced when growing up. And so let's talk a little bit about that. Were there any type of traumas that you would say, okay, I can see how that kind of played in my story and got me to the place where I'm strong enough to be who I am and what I'm doing?
Uh, yeah, yeah. I think, and that's the thing about wrestling for me.
Mhm.
That was always my escape to
Okay.
of reality, whether it be my parents arguing or
Mm-hmm.
whether it be school, because I was never the best student,
Mm-hmm.
but I was always able to escape through wrestling, and that just brought a feeling out of me that I want to give to other kids
Right.
today. But yeah, so I think that, yeah, that shaped me for sure.
How important is it though, man, for men out there in particular? How important is it for them to be able to identify um, some of their traumas, some of their triggers, and things that they've experienced, identify those things, heal from those things, and then use it as fuel for their purpose? Like, how important is that?
Is very important. Is very important. One of the worst things that happened in my life was my father's suicide,
Mm,
and that could I remember, like, when it happened, um, I told myself this could go one or two ways for me. I could either this could either light a fire in me that makes me want to work 10 times as hard,
hmm.
or this could go in the other direction where this creates a depression even for myself, where I don't want to do anything anymore,
Yeah.
like, not even have my own purpose. And I think in the beginning that was it was leaning more towards that, more towards I don't have a purpose, I don't want to do this anymore,
Right.
it's not worth it. But I think I saw a post, and it really made me think about life and everything. This post made me wish I could have shown my father this, before he made that decision.
Right.
And me wishing that he could have saw this post made me realize, well, I saw this post and I need to apply it to my life.
Hmm.
And the saying was, don't let a stumble in the road be the end of your journey.
Mm.
And when I saw that, I instantly thought, wow, I wish my dad would have saw this. But then the thought came to me, well, I can't stop now. I can't let that stumble in the road be the end of my journey, and I have to continue.
Right. Don't let a stumble in the road be the end of your journey. Somebody just need to type that. I mean, I think that's worth just parking for a moment. And as I said at the beginning of the show, we're going to be very candid and we're going to get deep into it. I've already spoken with Yaman in the virtual green room, and he said there's nothing off limits. So he trusts me in this
Yeah.
moment, and I appreciate that. You know, Yaman, you have something in common with me. The both of us, lost our fathers.
Hmm.
I lost my father at the top of, I think it was 2 years ago now. So it was what, 2020.
Yep.
And then we as a family just experienced a loss of your father, my uncle, last year. And you talk about this being a moment where you were at a crossroads where you could have went left, right, and given up the fight, given up everything, because you were at the time, you were a pro wrestler, you had matches and things
Hmm.
like that. At the
Hmm.
time you were filming films, because I know that you were sharing some of the stuff with me. You
Yep.
were right in the middle of all this stuff and you're rising in your career, and then this happens. What gave you, I know for me, when it happened with my father, he didn't commit suicide. We lost him to cardiac arrest.
Hmm.
um and it being a son that dealt with a man that was already dying for like 10 years, we saw him just kind of decline.
Yeah.
When it finally happened, there's nothing that prepares you for it. You can know all day that there's something wrong or going on with your father, but even when that moment happens, it still does not prepare you for the fact that they're gone. For me, I found that I was able to, connect with people in my family. I was able to pray. I was able to do different things that got me to the point where I would keep pushing. What was it for you that helped you keep moving and to make that decision? Was it the post that you saw, or was it a myriad of different things?
It really was that quote that I saw. That was one of the main things, but also going back to what I said earlier, just being able to have that outlet, that escape. I think it's important for people to find what that is for them. For me, that's wrestling, that's writing, that's my therapy, and I think through that I'm able to go in almost like a zen state of meditation through my
Mhm.
work, and even help other people. And I think that's what kept me going the most, is what takes me to that zone.
Right. So a way of escape. I recall there is actually a scripture that talks about that, right? That God will give you a way of escape. And sometimes we over spiritualize things, right? Sometimes we think, okay, well, God's going to do this whole miraculous divine thing, to give me a way out of my hurtful situation. But what you're
Mm,
talking about is so pragmatic, it's so practical, that you were able to find energy, you were able to find the will to keep moving even through your purpose.
mhm.
Wow. I mean, so talk about purpose a little bit, because you're saying your purpose, what you were born to do, helped you come out of that. Talk to some guy right now who's like, okay, I'm in the middle of a situation. It's rough, it's tough. I don't know what to do. Talk about how important it is for them to find purpose.
uh, Purpose is everything, essentially. I think, man, dude, purpose, man, it's just one of those things where you have to find your purpose, because if not, you're just kind of living on autopilot, I feel
Yeah.
like. And it'll help you through hard times. It'll help other people through their hard times. I feel like
Mhm.
everyone has a purpose,
Mhm.
and with whatever that purpose may be, your purpose has to be fulfilled before you get up out of here. I just think that's just my opinion. I think
Right.
your purpose have to be fulfilled before you get up out of here.
I think that's I agree. That's most definitely important for us to know that God gives us purpose, right? God gives us talents and gifts to share with the world and to help transform the world for a better place. Um, for me, I found purpose in writing, and you talk a little bit about the fact that you write. And might I add, I can't wait to these scripts turn into like
Yeah.
films and all this different type of stuff, because dude, you got something on your hands. um for me, I found purpose in writing, a lot of different other things too. I know you found purpose in writing as well. Was it something that healed you or helped you heal? Especially talking about your father's death and some of the other things you had to come through. Was that one of those things as well that kind of helped you heal?
Yeah, for sure. It's a form of communication. With myself, I'm able to convert thoughts onto paper,
Hmm.
and that's a real helpful method. I would suggest people start doing that, even if they don't have a passion for writing.
Yeah,
Being able to write down your thoughts on paper could go a long way, and writing definitely helped me for sure.
right. How have you how are you carrying the legacy? We started out this conversation about who's got next.
Mhm.
How are you carrying the legacy right now of your parents?
I think about this often, actually, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think I'm the at its purest form, the last male in my family
Hmm.
with this last name that came from the male.
I think
Um,
so. I think so.
and
Yeah.
so that's really important for me, because if I don't have a son, it essentially stops with me.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's important to carry on that legacy. And how I choose to do it is to use everything I've been taught from both of my parents.
Mhm.
I even think about it this way: like, I know it's easy to point the finger at a parent or
Right.
anyone and say that, um, they didn't do this for me, or I wish they would have done more of this. But I think a parent's job is to show you right and show you what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And a way for them to show you what's right and show you what's wrong is by doing wrong. So if they
Right.
do something wrong, you see what not to do.
Right.
And I think that's very important. You got to find the lessons in what's not ideal,
Yeah.
I think.
I have been in that same position, where you get to a point where you find out, hey, my parents are not so perfect, but they are human.
Right.
Grace is the word. Grace is the word, right? Um, have you found that you've had to give grace to people in your life, not just parents, but have you found that you've had to give grace to people in your life? And have you found that you needed grace yourself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I think it's humility is another thing. Just being able to find the good in things is how I try to live everyday life. Even in its roughest times, I just try to find the message that I'm supposed to get out of everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. With this conversation, because you opened it up about suicide, and I want to dig a little deeper. So I want my viewers to hold on just for a moment. This is a very, very important topic to discuss, especially when it comes to men, because a lot of men, as you know, they don't communicate um, as readily and easily as our female counterparts, right? Women will say what's wrong with them quicker than a man would. um how did you find your voice to be able to speak so well and to say what you're experiencing or what you're going through, to avoid the pitfalls of things like drugs, suicide, or whatever the case may be? How did you find your voice?
I don't think I found my voice. I think
Okay.
I think that's just something I was blessed with. I think
Mm,
I've just, like I said earlier, there's purpose. Everyone has purpose, and I feel like one of my purposes is to be able to speak and to articulate things to other people to
mhm.
help other people throughout their life. So I think it's just something that found me, to be honest.
Yeah, I think, and today there's a lot of people that's listening to your story, that's listening to this conversation, and I believe that they're going to be able to walk in the courage to speak as well about whatever it
Right.
is that they're experiencing, whatever it is that they are encountering right now. Sometimes it takes listening to another brother or listening to someone's story to say, wow, okay, I didn't know anybody else was really going through that. I didn't know anybody else was experiencing that. I see your auntie down there. She's saying, OMG, this is blessing my
Mm.
soul. Let's talk about why this topic is so important, with men talking. Um, like I said just a moment ago, there are a lot of men that refuse to say what's on their mind. And unfortunately, we've seen a lot of men uh, to their demise, like they've lost themselves, they've lost their life, or what have you, because they just couldn't talk about what it was that was ailing them or hurting them. Man, talk about how important it is to speak up, and how do these men speak up? Is there a specific way? Should they go to see a counselor? Should they go to church? I mean, from your perspective.
That's a difficult one because men, especially, we're taught to hold everything in. We're
Yeah.
taught to not cry about anything, to not ask for help. We're taught to be providers. We're taught to carry the weight of everyone else.
Right.
Um, but who helps the person that is always helping people? You know what I mean? Uh, I don't know. I don't know, man. I do want to say though, mental health is just like physical health. If
Mm-hmm.
you're not staying on top of it, if you're not exercising the mind, it could get very unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a misconception that mental health means you're crazy. Mental health means you're unstable. And it's so many different aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health could look like bad mental health could look like a regular everyday person, someone that's always happy,
Right.
someone who's on top of their life, and it could take one thing to set that off. So it's hard to say. Only thing I can say is it's just like physical health, and that's just you gotta stay active, you gotta stay exercising the mind.
Yeah. Exercising the mind. Somebody put that in the comments. Exercising the mind. I love how you put that because, I mean, you're an athlete and, this is our Saturday, highlight. A lot of times I like to bring on people who are in the athletic world to talk about different things like this. But we've got to exercise the mind. And for those people who are listening in, who are watching right now, actually, my good friend David Akungo over in Kenya, Africa, he says, "Wow, this is awesome." I was just going to say, I hope you're being blessed by this because this is a needed conversation. Okay. This is a needed conversation. Not only should we feed our bodies good food, right? But we should also be feeding our soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
um and in essence, feeding our soul will feed our mind to make sure that we're in a healthy state, to make sure that we're in a position to do what we believe we've been purposed to do. Let me ask this question. uh what do you feed your soul?
uh Positive affirmations, of course. Um i i i, I like to, once again, going back to that purpose,
Yeah.
I'm able to find that escape and feed my soul with what makes my soul happy, and that's what I do for a living. That's wrestling, that's telling stories.
Right.
um I think meditation is important.
Mm-hmm.
uh I try to feed my soul with everything that is positive, and sometimes that may be getting off of social media and not comparing your life to other people's lives, because it's a very fake world that's that's
Yep.
that's not real. And so sometimes I think feeding my soul is not putting anything in particular in, but sometimes detoxing the bad things and taking it out, which could
Yeah.
be uh, comparing yourself to other people, looking at social media, things like that.
That's so good. I'm glad you said that. Detoxing, really exercising your mind, exercising your soul, and ensuring that your mental health is in the best place possible. Most of it is you detoxing all of the things that you've experienced in your past, um, and all of the traumas and the things that you have encountered. For me, the way that I've detoxed is through singing, or like I said, through writing.
Mhm.
Um, what are some of that? I want you guys who are listening in, tell me in the comment section, what are some of the ways that you detox to get your mind at a clear state? What are some of the ways? But you're talking about practical things that we need to do in order to be able to stay on top of our mental health. And unfortunately, we have seen, you and I, we have seen men, even in the older generation, who have really struggled, right? Because they didn't necessarily know their purpose, or they didn't necessarily know how to detox their mind. They didn't necessarily know how to exercise their mental health. Um, what are some of the things that you want to do in the future? I know we talked about during the game that you eventually want to do like a program for pro wrestlers and teach them the business and things like
Hmm.
that. Is there anything in your mind that you want to do for just men in general to help them be able to stay on top of their mental health?
Uh, I want to spread the message that it's okay to not be okay. Um, I want to spread the message that you don't have to always have the answers. You know what I mean? And for men, I think it's important for them to stay healthy physically and mentally. And if I can be able to help out in any kind of way, whether that's a program or anything,
Hmm.
that would be ideal for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know this for sure that what God has created you to do is life transforming. You talked to me earlier about the things that you were writing. Um, Talk to me about one of your ideas. I think you read a little bit off to me. I forget the name of it. You don't have to say the name if you don't want to. But talk to me a little bit about this storyline that you created. And like I said, you don't have to give all of it because it's not out to the public yet. But I wanna build on this idea really quick. So that last thing that you read off to me in
Hmm.
the virtual green room. Talk a little bit about that premise for me that you wrote.
Uh, a lot of things stem from childhood. That story, or is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that one. Hmm.
Yeah, that one is just you know our childhood ultimately shapes who we are,
Hmm.
and when I everybody is kids at heart still. I think we all are still those kids. We just get older,
Yeah,
and I wish there was a better way for everyone to be able to recognize, you know, I'm still that little kid, and those things that hurt me as a kid, it still affects me, and to be able to build off of that.
yeah,
That's mainly what that story is.
yeah. And I asked you to kind of talk about that a little bit because a lot of people, male and female, to be honest with you, bro, a lot of people are dealing with what we call the after effect of their childhood traumas, right? Because
Hmm.
you said it best. That little girl or that little boy inside follows you through your life. And I just believe that he or she will never go away,
Hmm.
but you can do certain things in order to let the little girl or the little boy in you know that it's all right now, and
Hmm.
that what you experienced in the past, God is actually using that to your advantage. How, let me ask this question. What are some of the things that you tell the little boy Yaman?
Uh, I I try to be someone that I would have looked up to.
Mm,
As far as nothing in particular that I tell my younger self, but I try to model myself now as that person that would give the younger me that escape. Because like I said, I found an escape through wrestling and through the things that I found an escape through as a young age that could take me away from reality.
mm-hmm.
And I everything that I do is for that little kid, for that little kid to see and be proud of.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just try to be a role model for my younger self, and I know being a role model for my younger self could turn to me being a role model for other kids.
I think that's so dope. Yo, I need y'all are commenting over in the comment section. Y'all are very engaged in this conversation. Thank you so much for being engaged in this conversation. How about that's a question for those who are watching? What would you tell your younger self? If you are daring enough, go ahead and post it in the comment section. I believe that we have to talk to that younger version of ourselves. sometimes every day, Yaman, sometimes every week, in order to, remind that younger version that we're okay and that God still has a purpose for me. One of the things that I tell my younger self, I say, it's going to get better if you
Hmm.
keep going.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you said that too, because that's one of the things I do try to remind myself and to say to my younger self. As I think about often all the things you stress about when you're younger, and then later on is like, oh, it got better. And so
Yeah,
now when I find myself in those situations where I'm stressing about my next move or whatever, I remind myself that it's gonna get better.
yeah,
And
yeah.
because I even look back at like the start of my career, when things wasn't happening the way I wanted it to happen. Because when I started off wrestling or professional wrestling, I found a training facility, and I was just doing video for them. I was filming and editing the shows, the
Hmm.
professional wrestling shows that they were putting on. I wasn't having any matches, and for the longest, I was too young for people to even consider training me, and it got better. I look at me now. I was in a situation where there were shady promoters that tried to take advantage,
I'm
and it
sure.
got better, and it got better. Um, I felt like I wasn't doing enough at a certain point, and it got better.
Yeah. Yeah, life gets better,
It's better.
especially if you keep going. That's what a lot of people kind of get hung up on. When you say, like, they hit those hurdles that you just talked about earlier, they hit those stumbling blocks and things like that, and then they kind of get hung up on, that particular situation that happened to them, not realizing that you can change your perspective about it. If you look
Hmm.
at those moments as bad moments and moments that were meant to kill you, then you're going to get hung up on it and you're not going to be able to move forward and progress. But if you see it from a different perspective, that maybe this is an opportunity for God to show me what's good or what's not so good, like you
Yep.
talked about earlier.
Yep.
Maybe this is something that God's using to build me and to build
Hmm.
my story. If you look at it that way, then you can find the strength to keep fighting and to keep going on. I like what Yasmin said. She said she would tell her younger self, it's not going to be easy, but to keep fighting. Oh man.
Yep.
Oh man. I love it. I love it. I love it. James Taylor said, it's going to get better. Keep up the fight. I, I wonder, let's park right here for a moment. I wonder how many men in particular, but women as well, how many people would walk in their full purpose if they only got a positive mentality and a mindset. Like, how many people will be able to still push forward and move forward? Um, would you say that this positive mentality that you got, that is from God?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No other way around it. Simple as that. Yes.
Yeah, simple as that. It's from God. Would you say that your faith is something that has been getting you through? I mean, you've experienced your father passing, you've experienced other, like you said, childhood traumas, you've experienced stumbling blocks in the industry, the pro wrestling, and all of that. Would you say that your faith is something that has gotten you through?
Yeah. It's the main thing. Faith. Have to have faith.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I think that faith for me is one thing, but I'm good. Before I say what I think faith is, I'm going to ask you, what is faith?
Faith to me is being able to believe the untangible, being able to still know where you want to go, even if you can't see it or feel it.
Yeah,
And for some people, that's that a higher power. Um, for me, it is. Um, but yeah, even in my career, I did a lot of things on faith. You
yeah,
know, I quit plenty of jobs just off what ifs. You know,
Yeah.
I remember filling out a application for a seminar just to go learn, and missing a day of work.
Mm-hmm.
That was strictly off faith, just for a seminar, that just to learn, just to get knowledge. And
Yeah.
I end up getting a WWE tryout out of that.
Wow.
So faith is important. Yeah, faith is everything.
I absolutely love it. I mean, faith is to me that foundation, right, upon which you stand on to be able to dare to do every single thing that God gives you in your mind to do. All right, last question. I want to ask you this. I'm coming down to the end of my hour. I wish that we could just sit here and talk all day because this information that you're spitting out is so good. And those individuals over in the chat are really vibing with this conversation and vibing with you, Yaman. Listen, who is God to you?
Ooh, that's a deep question, man.
Take your time.
Mm, uh, God to me, I know the easy answer is to say everything. Of course, everybody's gonna say
Right.
God is everything,
Yeah.
but
Right.
yeah, God is everything. God is. I have some strange way of feeling like God is the good and the bad.
Yeah.
I have a strange way of feeling that and not in the sense that God is bad, but in the sense that all the bad things that happen in your life is
Mm.
from God preparing you to go to another level.
Yep.
I think God is all of us. I think God is within all of us. I think, man, God is God is that's such a deep question that,
Yeah.
like, I can't answer it in a single way. God is God.
Listen, God is God. God is I am that I am. I totally love that you said that God can show up in the good and the bad. You know, a lot of people, man, a lot of people just look at bad situations as, times where they should just give up and die and go, right, and give up on their dreams. But
Mhm.
actually, that could be God showing up in the form of an opportunity to get stronger, to get better, to go higher. And Jasmine says, God is, period.
Yeah, yeah.
God is, period. I absolutely love this. Okay, so we're about to get ready to end, but I want you, if you had an opportunity to speak to, um, let's say, a group of people, a crowd of people at a conference,
Mhm.
and all you knew that all of these people had greatness on the inside of them, right?
Mhm.
You could actually see it as you stood on the stage. You could look at each person and you could see what they will be in the future if they don't give up and if they don't succumb to the mental issues or the negative things that they are experiencing. If you could do that and you had that moment, 5 minutes, what would you say to those people?
It would be based off two things. One, decide what to be and go be it. Everything starts with that choice of just making the decision of what you want to do, and building off of that. And another thing would be the quote I saw: when once you decide what to be and go be it, on that
Mhm.
journey is gonna get hard. There's gonna be bumps in the road, but don't let a stumble in the road be the end of your journey, and continue to go be it. That's what I would say.
Man, you done preached on this Saturday morning.
Nah. Leave that
You
to
done
you,
preached,
man.
man. I love it. I love it. Don't let that's gonna stick with us. Don't let the stumbling blocks stop you. Don't let the stumbling block stop you. You gotta keep moving forward. And for those of you who are listening in right now, I want you to stay encouraged. I want you to stay in the grind. I want you to look at this young man. Look at this young man and how he has kept a level head through some of the things that would really be unimaginable, to be honest with you. It seemed like there would have been times in his life that he would have given up. But guess what? He kept pushing. He kept finding God in every situation. He used his purpose to pull him out of his pain. Oh, that's good. He used his purpose to pull him out of his pain. Yaman, I hope you see all the love going on over in the comments. Yasmin says she's so proud of you. Jay says you're so good, very proud of you. And Craig McEshaney says the journey can be as important as the destination. That is so very true. Hey, listen, I need you guys to stay connected with Yaman Shoot Taylor Carr. As you can see, he's a strong individual, not just physicality. He's strong in those wrestling matches that he has, but he has his head on straight, a very, very strong individual in his spirit and his mind. And I'm so very proud to call him family. I want you guys to stay connected with him. Go ahead and go over to all of his different social media outlets and things like that. I'm gonna bring it up here so that the folks can see. You can reach out to Shoot Taylor at any one of these social media handles at Shoot Taylor. And then also, I see that you are on YouTube. You got a lot of videos up there, man.
Oh yeah. You can see some matches. You can see some movie trailers. Yeah.
Okay, because you got a movie that's getting ready to come out, and so I'm very excited about that. Y'all go and take a look at everything that Shoot Taylor is doing over there. He's on Facebook, Twitter, and he's also on Instagram as well. Y'all connect with him, and as a matter of fact, y'all need to bring him to come and speak to some of the people that may be in your groups, because as you can tell, he has something to say. Cousin, thank you for your time today, and thank you for being so open and so candid.
It's been a pleasure.
Yo, I appreciate it. Y'all can reach out to me and connect with everything that's going on in my world over at www.kenyondudley.com. And of course, if you are a man and you would like to be a part of these conversations and you would like to connect with our network, we've got brothers from all over that's connecting. We help one another. We talk to one another. We build one another up. You can go right on over to Facebook and just type in MANWORK Network. MANWORK Network. And as you can see, we've got some pretty cool brothers that's a part of this who are doing some pretty amazing things. Yaman, we just did some man work, brother.
Yeah. I think we highlighted that it's beauty in the struggle.
It's beauty in the struggle. Boom. Beauty in the struggle. And I like what you got on right there on your hoodie. It's called Champion.
There.
You're a champion. You're a champion. Amy, she caught it too. She said he's a champ. Listen, I love you. I love everybody who's tuned in. I want you guys to keep up with what we're doing with MANWORK. We've got more discussions coming your way. Look for the information on all of my social media outlets. We've got some great things coming up. And I want you to enjoy your Saturday. And listen, if you're that person, that says, I've been in a rut, I've been in a place where I don't know what's next, I hope that you took the words of Shoot Taylor and that you're looking at his life and that you leave encouraged today, understanding that God has a purpose for you. It's not time for you to give up. It's not time for you to stop. There is beauty in the pain, beauty in the struggle. If only you would get up one more time and keep pushing. This has been MANWORK Talks. Today, we did some man work. I love you with the love of Jesus Christ.